So hi, my name is Ron. I'm a master degree student in computer science, and this is the paper I chose for the seminar. Some site I used to call Awareness, Agency, and Efficiency in Protecting Content Creators from AI Coders from IMC 2025. So I really enjoy reading the paper. It is focused on important and relevant topic, and I hope you find it interesting as well. So let's start with introduction. Um, the paper studies web coders in the AI era. So I start by briefly explaining what coders are. So a web coder is a simple program that automatically navigates websites and collects information from them. So as you can observe in the slide, the coder starts from a website, page one, extract all the links it finds in there from the HTML content, and then follow them to other pages. So in our case, from page one to page two. Then it simply repeats the same for each newly discovered page. So the next round is from page 2 to page 3, and so on. Each new page may reveal additional links, and the process continues iteratively. So this simple mechanism allows it to gradually expand its reach and continuously discover new pages. At scale, it can easily reach large portions of the web. Okay, as another point, which relates to the right side of the slide, um, web coders already have many cases in the pre-AI era. Search engines use them to index pages, which by all means the most common and familiar use. Um, Companies use them to track prices and deals from online stores. Researchers use them to collect statistical or analytical data, and you can easily think of other use cases. I just listed a few examples in here on the slide. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so this slide shows how the introduction of AI changed the relationship between coders and website. So before, crawlers have been around since the early days of the internet. They have been studied extensively over the years, and you can easily find countless of papers on any aspect of them on the literature. So they're kind of mature topic. Um, in recent years, web coders had received renewed attention because AI coders fundamentally changed the landscape of coding. So the technology stayed mostly the same. AI coders are not different. They use the same infrastructure and the same techniques as traditional coders. What actually changed is two main aspects which appear on this slide. One is the scale in which they operate, and two is the attitude of web owners toward them, or how website how websites view them, how web owners view them. Um, so I will discuss in more detail about each of these aspects, starting from scale. Um, so AI models need enormous amount of data for training, and the data mostly come from the web. So this creates a large demand for web content. Therefore, when AI arrived, the amount of calling activity has increased substantially. So if you own a website, you're likely to receive much more requests from callers now than you would in the past. Um, and the paper also mentioned that there are even reports of website going down because AI callers overwhelm their servers. Bottom of line, before AI, calling was already common. With AI, it's much more dramatic. Um, okay, the second point is that coders are viewed much less favorably than than they were in the past. Um, in the past, website often had incentive to be called. For example, to increase the rank in the search results, which makes them more popular, which helps them to attract more visitors, since website often benefited from it. coders were generally tolerated. Um, but when AI entered the picture, these balances change. There is no longer mutual gain from both sides. AI models um, use their content for training, but give them nothing in return. Um, like for example, a credit or a reference to their website um, or compensation. Um, Um, and not just they don't get any benefit from it. In most cases, AI may even compete with them using this content. For example, it might produce sensors that otherwise the user would go to their will go or will visit their website. Um, Overall, from the web owner perspectives, the headquarters increase their server loads, steal their content, and may even potentially harm their business. Because of that, the attitude toward coders had become much more negative. Um, and the the content creators are looking for ways to restrict or even block them. So that leads us straight to the next to the next slide, which which talks about Robot 60. So Robot60 is a tool that is used to restrict or block callers, so not specifically AI callers, but any automated bots. So Robot60 is a simple file that is placed at the root of the domain, and these files allows web owners to interact with callers, or more precisely, to define rules for callers. For example, which pages it allowed to access and which pages it should avoid. Um, so how it works, we can see it in here. So a caller, when a caller first visits the website, it requests the robot60 file. Then the server returns the file, and the caller knows exactly which restriction it should follow. Then it simply continue calling the website uh, while respecting the defined rules. Um, so note that this mechanism is voluntary. It does not really prevent access. The coder can decide not to obey the rules and may even ignore them completely. Um, so it does not have to comply to the rules. Um, okay, so let's go on. So this slide demonstrates how Robot60 looks like. So first, historically, Robot60 is introduced in 1994, and in 2022, it became a formal internet standard as WEP. Um, so I think that the most important thing to understand here is what is user agent string, which appear here. Um, So user agent, when a caller visits the website, it identifies itself using a user agent string. That means that when uh, that it includes the user agent strings as part of any HTTP request that it sends to the website servers. Um, so major companies use well-defined names. For example, Google Caller identified itself as Googlebot. OpenAI used GPTBot, and so on. Not that nothing prevents a caller um, to not identify itself, to refrain to tell who it is, um, fake identity, or even pretend to be someone else. Um, Okay, so now that we figure out what user agent string is, we can go more into Robot60 format, which we see here. So first, we specify the user agent string. We can see, okay, here we see an example of Robot60, and each of them are rules. So first, in each rule, we specify the user agent string. So the user agent string can be specific. It can be specific, for example, GPT bot, or we can use wildcard, which cover all the colors. Okay, and we have here more directives. I think that disallow and allow are self-explanatory. They means what pages they should, what pages can be is allowed and what pages is not allowed. And the quarter delay means how many seconds to wait between requests. Okay, so at the bottom we can see the Robot60 example. We can see that in the first rule that they set the user agent to GPT bot, meaning that this rule is specifically intended for OpenAI's caller, and based on this and on the directives under it, it means that it allowed to access only content under the public subdirectory. And the second rule means that the second rule is intended for all the callers, and it requests them to wait 10 seconds between requests. And the goal is to avoid overloading the servers. Okay, so this slide explains the limitations of Robot60. So Robot60 is not an ideal solution. It's not a catch-all solution. And here I listed the three limitations. So the first two we already covered. One is that Robot60 is voluntary, not enforced, and the coder can decide to not obey the rules. The second limitation is that is proven. A coder can decide to fake identity. Adversary coder. And the third limitation is that to use Robot60 effectively, we need to know which coders exist and what their corresponding user agent strings. So that require domain knowledge, that requires technical ability. And with this world that is constantly changing and new coders always appear, this means that maintaining Robot60 can be quite challenging. Okay, so that's basically sum up the introduction, and we can continue to the paper goals and contributions.